To me, sculpture is a language. Just like for a writer, the words is his language. For a musician, I guess the tones or the instrument that he uses is his language. For a dancer, I guess it's the movement through their body that is their language. And to me, the language of sculpture is as scientific as any of these other languages. To me, a sculpture is an object that is sort of trying to create a movement in space around it, just exactly where it is. And how to do that is a science. That language, I don't know if you can put words on it. I think you just have to feel it or see it. You see a sculpture and it might evoke some feeling in you. Maybe just like, you know, when you see a bird fly across the sky, or all of a sudden you hear somebody singing, a tone evokes a feeling in you. And in a way, that's how sculpture is too. And that's how it should make you feel. But let me tell you, it's not that simple to make it. The sculptures I do are all about people. They're all done in clay. I model the sculptures in clay, and then they get reproduced in bronze. So my material is bronze. Mainly I work in bronze because I can be very free to model, very loose and very movements, and bronze is sort of helps to capture that movement like a frozen fire in a way. And I love that with bronze, because bronze is fire. When it's melted, you know, I mean, it looks like fire, and then it gets cold and it gets frozen in the movement. And that's what I also try to do with my sculptures. I freeze moments, you know, because my sculptures are a lot about movements. I think that I'm inspired by a lot of things in life that I see around me, but I'm truly inspired by my own experiences and my own thoughts and my own life. That's really where the source for my expressions come. So I guess in that way I'm just as self-absorbed as you would say that all artists are. I think it's true. Because I can't do something that I can't really feel myself, you know, in some or other way. A lot of my sculptures that I do for myself are women. And that was, I think, a surprise in the beginning, because a lot of them were nudes, and they were studies, and there were dancers, and some friends would ask, well, why don't you do men? And I thought about that a lot, you know. I hadn't really thought about it, but I think it's because everything I do is a sort of a self-portrait of how I feel. If I do work for myself, I'm always more preoccupied with, I think, the poetic and the sensitive and the intuitive, interpretive, sensuous part of life, and not really the dogmatic. It's not so interesting to me. So that's why I typically wouldn't do religious work or political work for myself. Art is not really about being talented or clever in doing something. It's about having a passion, a real belief in something that relates, I would say, mainly to humanity in some or other way, and that you just feel you have to tell it. You have to tell it, even about the beauty of humanity, or the pain, or the nature, or whatever, or feelings, emotions, togetherness, or separation, or love, hate, sorrow, everything that relates to humanity. And you have to have a passion for talking about that, and you do it through a medium, and whatever medium it is. And that's what I tell my students, that with that passion they're bound to succeed. You have to succeed if you have a true passion about something. I think that an artist's life is, honestly, is pretty boring, because we have to work so hard. We don't get any help from anybody, you know, we're not hired, nobody pays our security in any way. We have to do everything ourselves, and in order to do that you have to be very disciplined, and you have to be a little bit of a man of all, or a woman of all trades. And so it's sort of a sobering thing, really, to be an artist and to manage all of that on your own. Today I live in 2 countries, because I teach in Norway and I have my family there, and I teach at the Norwegian Art Academy sculpture. And then I produce all my sculptures especially my large pieces here in Loveland in Colorado. So I divide my time. I travel back and forth all the time depending on where I am in which process. You know, I think it's a weird life, really, and I try to look around it. Do I know anybody else that lives like that? And actually, I don't. But that is something that, you know, that I have figured out that works for me, to be always on the move. I guess I'm pretty restless in a way as a person. But I think also that restlessness comes out in my sculpture, and maybe, you know, that's a good thing.